Hello indie game fans! A huge bunch of promising early access titles were released in August 2019, but as always, let's begin with some quick picks worth checking out. Piko Piko is a pixel art Metroidvania where you play as Piko, our hammer-wielding heroine who uses a big hammer to bash things up. It's a strange setup as Piko is enrolled in the blacksmithing school and enters a competition to graduate in order to prove her hammer is the best. Lovely pixel art, but it's a little rough around the edges since there are some minor spelling errors in translation. Buoyancy is water world city builder, where you have to build your floating raft city, scavenging for resources from the ocean while building up your production and defensive capabilities. There are survival game elements here, since your colony will get attacked by pirates, and it's quite interesting since your entire floating town can be steered on the ocean as well. Stone Story RPG is a semi-idle RPG adventure that simply uses gorgeous ASCII art. You choose an area and your little adventurer will automatically journey forth, harvesting resources, fighting enemies and so on, with your input being to swap equipment when necessary. In between levels, you can craft items and equipment, as well as unlock new areas, and I was very pleasantly surprised by the narrative and story. Alchemy Story is a 3D farming sim RPG, but with a hint of magic, since the twist here is alchemy. You can craft a variety of potions and have to tend to your garden, growing a variety of plants as ingredients. There's a story about undoing the witch's curse, returning townspeople to their human form, and unlocking additional shops and areas in the village, so quite a cute little game, although I still can't quite get over that running animation. Re-Legend is another farming sim, but this time crossed with a Pokemon-style Monster Taming game, but with real-time combat instead. Many of you will know that I was very excited for this, but unfortunately, it seems to have gotten mixed reviews, with many citing bugs and a general lack of features since it is still in early access. Not as polished as many of us thought it might be, but still worth keeping an eye on. Moving on, here are the top 5 best early access indie games for August 2019.
Time to kick some demon ass.
Jupiter Hell is a traditional turn-based roguelike set in a 90s style sci-fi world where you explore derelict space stations and have to fight demons, zombies, and heavy metal monstrosities with chain guns and chainsaws. Sound familiar? Well, this is from the creator of Doom the Roguelike, or DRL, so of course this is inspired to say the least. With a target 1.0 release window of end 2020, the game is currently playable from start to finish, but roguelike development, as the developer puts it, is a horizontal affair, adding more items, traits, classes, and so on.
To Jupiter Hell, available exclusively on the Epic Store. Just fucking kidding.
The city building simulation, MicroTown, is a medieval themed one of these, but on hex grids, and while still in early access, the basic systems are in place and work pretty well. Starting off with, naturally, wood, stone, and food. Completing objectives will net you some research points, which can be used to unlock technology like smelting, beekeeping, and brewing alcohol. Progressing you down the tech tree with new resources to manage as well, so a very promising start which I already like. Over the next 2 to 6 months, the largest change that I can see is more scenarios and a campaign mode to be added, as well as trading and governing policies and perks. Pirates Outlaws is another roguelite deck builder that makes the list, following in the footsteps of games like Slay the Spire. However, this swashbuckling adventure is excellent with its own unique system of using ammo to fuel your attacks, which do not regenerate fully between turns, but in part are helped by having to play ammo cards from your hand. The pirate theme is excellent, with a ton of cards, character classes and scenarios to unlock. By March 2020, there are 3 more campaigns, as well as more classes, enemies, bosses and cards to be added, and this is actually a reworked mobile title with none of the microtransaction hooks, so an interesting transition to a premium product on PC. I still can't believe that we got 2 of my most anticipated Monster Taming games in the same month, but Monster Sanctuary was the one that really got me. Crossing pixel art, Pokemon-style combat and a Metroidvania, this on paper was a no-brainer, and I am very happy to report that I really love this. Playing as a monster keeper, you must investigate why there are increasing conflicts between monsters and humans, taking on a variety of bosses as you explore the interconnected world. There are Metroidvania-style upgrades like the double jump, but most interesting of all are that the monsters themselves have exploration abilities that you can use, much like the HMs in Pokemon. There is so much variety in the training of your monsters, from different skill trees to equipment, so plenty to keep you playing along. Pretty much more of everything is planned to be added over the course of the next year, but very polished and fun right now. Undermine is perhaps the successor to Rogue Legacy in my book, since this comes the closest in terms of feel. But rather than being a platformer, this instead is a top-down action game much like Enter the Gungeon. Key to all of this is gold, which is obtained from mining deposits, but watch out for the adorable slimes that will try to steal your gold. There are in-run upgrades and relics, as well as a bomb and key system, but where this shines is the rescuing of villagers, unlocking of shops, and using gold to permanently upgrade your stats. There is about 60% of the planned content in the game right now, with more areas and bosses to be added, but there is already quite a substantial chunk, so I'm very confident that this will be the next great roguelite hit, taking the #1 spot of the month. For more of the best indie games, do check out the previous video or click on the recommended playlist, and I will see you after the jump.